This is the reason the boys fell off in one image, one chart to be specific, and what it shows is damning. The screenwriters in green here joined in Season 1, the ones in yellow here joined in Season 2, the ones in red joined in Season 3, and the ones in blue joined in Season 4. We can see a trend emerge here. Seasons 1 and 2 were written mostly by the same people, including Eric Kripke, the showrunner, and George Mastras, who worked on Breaking Bad. Once we hit Season 3, most of the Season 1 and 2 writers get shifted out, Kripke stops writing episodes himself, and the show starts to go downhill. Of course, Season 3 itself was pretty decent, and Herogasm in particular was a good episode, so I was curious why Jessica Cho, who wrote it, wasn't writing any good episodes since then. And it turns out, when I looked at the writers for the Gen V episodes, all of them were people who had not worked on The Boys, except for Kripke himself and also Cho, who did 2 episodes, one in Season 1 and one in Season 2. Now, I know nothing about writing, so she may or may not be overworked. I really don't know. However, I am leaving it out there as a possibility that she was perhaps stretched thin between the 2 shows. Also, as an aside, when I saw that the Thomas Schnoz of Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul fame had done a random episode of Gen V, I was kind of shocked. I haven't watched Season 2, but I'm tempted to take a look at that episode specifically. Anyways, when you look at the chart, it's clear that The Boys was written by 2 different teams. The first one was more disciplined, or hungrier, and Kripke himself was way more involved in the writing. The second team got sloppy, with the best writers working double duty on the spin-offs, and Kripke himself began to spread his attention to the Mexico, Gen V, and Vought Rising spin-offs. We also have evidence of interference from the higher-ups, and unlike with Invincible, we actually have confirmation that they did interfere with the show. Starting with the obvious, we have Kripke confirming that Amazon didn't give them a high enough budget. I mean, there are not full battle scenes because we still don't have Game of Thrones budget, but there are a lot of very direct confrontations, a lot of people that you want to see smashing into each other smash into each other. I don't think I need to explain how utterly ridiculous it is that a trillion-dollar company is unable to give one of its most successful shows the budget it needs to create a good final season. Yes, the cast is likely far more expensive than it used to be. Yes, the show itself might have faltered after Season 4. That is only more reason that you should make it into an event. If they're putting the final episode in theaters, what does it say that they aren't willing to invest a blockbuster level budget into the show? My guess is that they have a lack of faith in the show, which is odd at first glance, because year over year it did better and better on the streaming charts. In this article from Variety, we have Amazon's chief of TV, Vernon Sanders, confirming that The Boys Season 3 did 17% better than Season 2, and 234% better than Season 1. The Boys Season 4 did 14% better than Season 3, logging 1.19 billion minutes during its first 3 days. That's billion, with a B, mind you. So I really don't know why they weren't throwing cash hand over fist like this, like nobody's business, when they threw $1 billion at the Rings of Power. And not only that, we have a clip from Eric Kripke himself saying that he had a Season 5 ending planned out ever since Season 3, which means he definitely could have been using that as leverage for the budgets of Season 4 and 5, right? I'll play the clip right now.
Eric, I want to know, how long have you known what you wanted the ending of this series to be?
I would say it was right in the middle of writing Season 3 that we got a pretty good handle on how we wanted things to end. It's a tricky balance, right? You need to give the audience viscerally and cathartically what they want, but you have to do it in a way that they don't expect.
To be honest, having your show planned out is one of those things that sounds really good in theory, but in practice, having only the ending planned out can sometimes lead to some issues. I'm gonna use How I Met Your Mother as an example. For those of you unaware, it was this really big sitcom in the 2000s, 9 seasons, and the ending was filmed during the making of its second. You might think that this allowed the writers to make a perfect plot descending squarely upon the series' end. What actually happened is that the characters outgrew the ending that they had written in Season 2 by Season 5, and the last couple of seasons were a whole lot of stalling combined with a major reversion of character development in the final episodes. In other words, having a certain endpoint in mind without the skeleton of how to get there leads to what I call Founding Titan syndrome. You've got most of the development out of the way too early, so now you have to stretch what remains into way too long of a runtime. And frankly, it's not just us, the viewers, that are unhappy with the show. Even the people working on it aren't happy. You want to know how I know? Just take a look at this clip right here.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Look, I get it. Obviously, you got studio guys who are all, we need to plant seeds for the sequel. But I feel like it's kind of a disservice to your fan base, and also just not great storytelling.
What the fuck was that?
A studio mandate to include planting seeds for a sequel while compromising on the quality of the existing show? I wonder what this could possibly mean. And honestly, Kripke, I agree. I have absolutely zero interest in Vought Rising. I will not be watching. Sorry, but I'm just not into watching a bunch of asshole villains on the come up when I know for a fact that they're gonna come out on top in the end, and I have no confidence that the show will be able to sell me on their suffering. Not to mention, my opinion of it is already soured by the fact that so many of these past episodes have been used to set it up. Oh, but if one thinly veiled complaint wasn't enough, just take a look at what Worm over here says during Season 5, Episode 1.
When I wrote the series finale of Triple C, that's Crimson Cows Capers, it was impossible to tick every box and tie up every little storyline. I mean, just try making everybody happy. You can't do it. Finales are the worst.
Well, at that point, you're not even really being subtle about it. But wait, maybe it's just a big joke that they put into the show. Surely the cast and crew don't feel this way about... Sorry, wait. What did Laz Alonso and Carl Urban like on their Instagrams?
Would give some of the time that they're giving to Soldier Boy
to MM.
Yeah,
Speaking of the cast, though, I don't want to make this video totally negative, so I'm gonna say this right now. The Boys cast is still on the top of their game, and the work that the costuming department has done is nothing short of revolutionary. I genuinely believe that every superhero show, movie, whatever, should be taking notes from The Boys. The utter creativity, the real-life inspiration synthesized with superheroic visual language, the sliding scale of grimy to cartoonish means that there's something for everyone here. Oh Father specifically in Season 5 has both an amazing actor and a costume that looks ridiculous but ends up playing off really well in context and in motion. I have to admit, I thought it was a stinker when I saw it in the poster, but looking at it now, it's good stuff. I think looking back, The Boys will be known for a couple of things: having a great first 2 to 3 seasons, having amazing casting, and having great costuming that will hopefully define the 2030s and beyond once the costume designers are released into the wild to be picked up by Marvel and DC. Unfortunately, judging by the last episode being written by someone who doesn't have the best pedigree on the show, my hopes are not high that it'll be remembered for its great ending.